Imagine walking into a marketplace bustling with traders from all corners of the world. Each vendor offers their wares, silks, spices, machinery, all at competitive prices. Now imagine a gatekeeper stepping in, demanding a fee for every foreign good that crosses the border. This fee, my friends, is a tariff. It seems simple enough, doesn't it? Charge a little extra for imports, protect your local traders, and generate some revenue. But like all things that seem straightforward, the story of tariffs is much more complex. Let's start with a tale from not so long ago, the first term of Donald Trump's presidency. He viewed tariffs as a powerful tool, a simple solution to complex problems. He slapped them on steel, aluminum, and a host of other imports, claiming it would revive America's manufacturing sector, reduce the trade deficit, and even fund the government. For a time, it looked like the story might play out as planned. American steelmakers enjoyed higher revenues, sheltered from the flood of cheaper imports. But as any good storyteller knows, there's always a twist. The twist came in the form of unintended consequences, as tariffs drove up the cost of raw materials like steel and aluminum. Downstream industries, think automakers and appliance manufacturers, began to suffer. Higher input costs squeezed their margins, and many were forced to raise prices, passing the burden on to consumers. Ordinary families found themselves paying more for everything from cars to washing machines. Meanwhile, farmers who had nothing to do with steel or aluminum became collateral damage when China retaliated with its own tariffs, targeting American agricultural exports. And what about the trade deficit, the villain Trump sought to vanquish? It stubbornly refused to budge. Here's why. When tariffs make imports more expensive, Americans naturally buy fewer foreign goods. But fewer imports mean fewer dollars leaving the country. And when fewer dollars are sold, the greenback strengthens. A stronger dollar, in turn, makes American exports more expensive for foreign buyers. The result, even as Americans bought less from abroad, the rest of the world bought less from America. The trade deficit, the villain of our story, simply laughed in the face of Trump's tariffs. Now let's take a step back and look at the long-term arc of this tale. Throughout history, tariffs have been portrayed as heroes by some and villains by others. Their supporters argue that they protect local industries, allowing them to grow strong and self reliant. And there's truth to that. In theory, tariffs can give struggling industries the breathing room they need to innovate and compete. They can also reduce dependence on potentially hostile nations for critical goods, enhancing national security. But the long term repercussions often tell a different story. Tariffs can shelter weak industries, encouraging complacency instead of innovation. Over time, resources like labor and capital get tied up in less productive sectors, dragging down economic growth. Global supply chains, the lifeblood of modern trade, become tangled, creating uncertainty for businesses and consumers alike. The world learns to adapt, finding ways to trade around the tariffs, which ultimately lose their effectiveness. Remember the late 19th century, an era often romanticized as a golden age of high tariffs and strong growth in America. Dig a little deeper, and the picture changes. Yes, the economy grew, but not because of tariffs. The real heroes of that era were population growth, technological advancements, and the rise of industries that didn't rely on trade. The tariffs, they raised living costs and protected less productive businesses, leaving a mixed legacy at best. Back in our present day tale, Trump's ambitions for tariffs extended to a dream of replacing income tax altogether, funding the government entirely through tariffs. It's an alluring vision, making foreigners pay for America's bills while sparing hard-working citizens. But here's the reality check. Even with aggressive tariffs, the revenue they generate wouldn't come close to funding the federal budget. Worse, the cost would largely fall on American consumers in the form of higher prices. And so we find ourselves at the end of this tale, wiser but wary. Tariffs, like the gatekeeper at the market, wield undeniable power. In the short term, they can protect local traders and generate some revenue. But over time, they risk turning the bustling marketplace into a stagnant, insular place where costs rise, innovation slows, and everyone pays the price. As we think about trade policies, let's remember the lessons of history. Tariffs are not the heroes or villains of our economic story. They are tools. Used wisely, they can serve a purpose. Misused, they can lead us down a path of unintended consequences. The real key to prosperity lies in fostering innovation, embracing cooperation, and crafting policies that support sustainable growth for everyone. Thank you, and I hope this story helps you see tariffs in a new light. I look forward to hearing your thoughts.